In one American state, the top income tax rate kicks in when you earn $17,000 a year. Not a typo. 17,000 and you're already maxed out. In another, your property tax bill just cracked $10,000 a year on average. First time in history. And that's not Manhattan, that's New Jersey. But here's what got me. The state sitting at number 1 on this list quietly takes more money per person than any other state in America. More than California, more than New York. And almost nobody talks about it. If you're living in any of these 8 states, you might be bleeding money every single month without realizing how much. And if you're thinking about moving to one, you're going to want to hear this first. Subscribe if you like keeping your money. Let's break it down. Number 8. Virginia. Virginia is the sleeper on this list, and that's what makes it dangerous. The top income tax rate is 5.75%, which sounds reasonable, but it kicks in at just $17,000. A first-year teacher pays the same top rate as a brain surgeon. Total burden hits 12.5% of income, inflated by $1,612 per capita in taxes flowing through the DC Metro. Falls Church homeowners pay over $10,000 a year in property taxes alone. One local posted that Virginia doesn't feel expensive until you actually add it all up. Then you realize you've been cooked slowly, and if a stealth tax state worries you, the next one turned flat tax into an art form of pain. Number 7. Illinois. Illinois charges a flat 4.95% income tax. It sounds tame next to California. So how does it end up here? Property taxes are the answer. Illinois has the second highest rate in the nation, about 2% effective. A $350,000 home in the Chicago suburbs generates a bill of more than $7,800 a year. Sales tax averages 8.96%, and until this year the state even taxed groceries. But here is the part that deserves more outrage. Illinois has 8,500 separate taxing authorities, the most of any state. School districts, park districts, mosquito abatement districts, each one with its hand in your wallet. The total burden is 12.9%, and 61% of residents have considered leaving. That is not a red flag, that is a whole marching band. Would you pay a flat tax if property tax doubled the damage? Drop it in the comments. If overtaxation in the Midwest sounds rough, imagine getting taxed into the ground in actual paradise. Hawaii has the lowest property tax rate in America, 0.27%. Sounds like a bargain? It is not even close. The state carries the third highest overall tax burden at 14.1% of income. 12 income tax brackets, the most of any state, climb from 1.4% to 11%. That top rate hits at just $325,000 for joint filers. Then there is the general excise tax, which looks like 4% on paper but cascades through business-to-business transactions, embedding itself in prices over and over. Estate tax tops out at 20%, the highest of any state. The result? Hawaii lost 0.65% of its entire population to domestic migration in a single year. That is 9,321 people gone, worst per capita exodus in the country. A resident summed it up online. Paradise has an HOA fee, and the HOA is the state government. At least Hawaii has beaches. The next state taxes you this hard, and your view is a maple tree covered in frost. Number 5. Vermont. Vermont looks like a postcard. The tax bill reads like a ransom note. Income tax tops out at 8.75%, but the real damage is property. Vermont has the highest property taxes as a share of income of any state in America. Roughly 5 cents of every dollar a Vermonter earns goes directly to property tax. The median annual bill is $4,956. Vermont is one of only 8 states still taxing Social Security benefits. Estate tax hits a flat 16% on estates over $5 million. With only 647,000 residents, there simply are not enough people to spread costs around. Someone posted online that they moved here for the quality of life, and now they are leaving because they cannot afford the quality of life tax. Now remember, the state at number 1 still has not shown up yet, and it beats every state you have heard so far. Keep that in the back of your mind. If tiny Vermont can bleed you dry, imagine what happens when the largest state economy in the country decides to collect. Number 4. California. California charges the highest top income tax rate in the nation, 13.3% on income over $1 million, including a 1% mental health services surcharge that flies under the radar. Stack on the 1.1% state disability insurance tax, which since 2024 has no wage cap, and the effective top rate reaches 14.4%. The sales tax base rate of 7.25% is the highest of any state, and some cities push past 10.25%. The gas tax hits 70.9 cents per gallon. Capital gains are taxed as ordinary income all the way up to 13.3%. Since 2020, California lost roughly 1.2 million residents on net, carrying an estimated $50 billion in adjusted gross income to other states. And the kicker. Lawmakers proposed the Billionaire Tax Act, a 5% levy not on income, but on total net worth for anyone worth $1 billion or more. At least in California, property tax rates are capped. The next state has no such mercy. Number 3. New Jersey. New Jersey has the highest property taxes in America. Not close. The statewide average cracked $10,095 in 2024, first time ever above $10,000. In Paterson, homeowners spend 9.76% of their income, nearly a dime of every dollar, solely on property tax. Income tax tops out at 10.75%. New Jersey is one of only 5 states with an inheritance tax at 11 to 16%. One physician posted that he and his wife owed close to $100,000 a year in state tax, $1 million every decade to the Garden State. Kiplinger named New Jersey the number 1 least tax-friendly state for middle-class families in 2026. Net migration in 2024 was negative 35,554. And those aren't just numbers, those are moving trucks. If you live in the tri-state area, is it worth it? Staying, leaving, or just crying into your property tax bill? Tell me in the comments. You know where a lot of those people moved from? New York, which somehow manages to be even worse. Number 2. New York. New York takes 15.9% of residents' income in state and local taxes. That is the highest percentage of any state, 42% above the national average. But the real nightmare is New York City. If you live in the 5 boroughs, you are hit with 3 separate income taxes stacking on top of each other. State tax up to 10.9%. City tax up to 3.876%. Plus a Metropolitan Transit Authority surcharge of 0.375%. The combined top rate pushes past 14.8% in income tax alone before federal. Per capita state and local tax collections hit $12,685. That is the highest in America, 80% above average. Since 2020, roughly 880,000 people have left New York on net, and the city proposed an additional 2% millionaire tax that would push the combined rate past 16.8%. So New York is the worst, right? Highest burden percentage, biggest migration loss. Not quite. The state at number 1 quietly takes even more per person, and nobody sees it coming. Number 1. Connecticut. The state nobody suspects. Connecticut does not have California's reputation or New York's spotlight. It is a tax machine that grinds quietly, taking more money per person than any other state in the country. Per capita tax burden of $12,151, $68 more per person than New York. And Connecticut does this with 3.6 million people instead of New York's 19.5 million. Smaller population. Bigger per person bite. The income tax looks modest, 2 to 6.99%, but Connecticut offers no standard deduction, not a reduced one, none. Every dollar is exposed from the first cent. Property tax effective rate of 1.48% puts 5 Connecticut cities in the top 11 nationally for property tax burden. Bridgeport leads at 7.42% of homeowner income. Connecticut is the only state in America that charges a gift tax. It taxes Social Security for higher earners. It extended its corporate surcharge through 2028, and it charges 7.75% on vehicles over $50,000. The top 1% of Connecticut earners pay an effective rate of 27.77%. Highest of any state. The result is not dramatic, it is clinical, negative 6,060 in 2024, not a flood, a slow, expensive leak. One person at a time deciding the math does not work anymore. On paper, Connecticut looks refined. In reality, it is the most efficient tax extraction machine in America, and that is why it is number 1. Is Connecticut worse than you expected? Drop your state in the comments. You just sat through 8 states where the tax bill rivals a second mortgage. Burden ranges from 12.5% to 15.9% of everything you earn, compared to a national average of 11.2%. Several are actively proposing new taxes for 2026. If you are planning a move, choosing wrong is not just inconvenient, it is expensive. Subscribe so you see this information before your real estate agent fails to mention it. Tomorrow's video covers the states people are actually running to.